Good meeting.
We have May 27th and then June 10th.
Okay. Okay, I'm good. Services board meeting, or service conference in London.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you're good to go.
Thank you, Kim. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 council meeting at 6:30. We'll start with disclosure of pecuniary interest. None. So we'll start with staff reports, and Dan, thank you for joining us, and I'll get you to go first, please.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Copy of your printed one too, Dan.
Right, and I did not bring mine, but. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll jump into the big item. The rest of it's just kind of regular, township business. The big one is I've been meeting with, a lot of contractors at the Bear Creek Bridge, trying to organize, bridge surveyors to get the alignments, the skew right for if we're going to do a bridge, contract Hydro Bell to remove the lines, what's the costs are going to be to do that. The crane, I'm meeting with the crane people tomorrow to kind of see if the hydro is really going to affect them, if we have to move the lines or not. Maybe we can put some insulators on the line and not move them. So that'd be a big cost savings. So I'll have more information as we move on. The other big item is we had another culvert collapse on South River Road. It was on the shoulder on the inside of the guardrails. So it's not out in the road. That's the good news. And so we've temporarily repaired it. So I've put out for pricing for a new culvert and maybe do a bypass culvert also because we receive a lot of water there. So unfortunately, they were supposed to give me the pricing today, have it by today, but I didn't get it in. So I'll have to brief council at the next council meeting on pricing on, 3 different options of the culvert for there. That one there is a 10-foot diameter culvert, so it's not a multi-plate. So we should be able to do it in sections and not have to shut the road down when we go to do the project.
And there's a grant stream out right now that covers that and the Bear Creek culvert, hopefully, and we're going to apply for that.
Right.
For at least 80% coming from the province,
which will be huge because these projects, Bear Creek will be a big project, and this one will be big enough. So if we can get it covered by 80% funding, that'll really help the township.
Okay.
Good. Well, thanks very much, Dan.
No problem. Sorry I couldn't be there, but.
Good job with the storm.
Are you really?
All right.
Thanks for your report, Dan.
No problem. Good night.
Right.
So we'll keep going, and Councillor Foote.
We had a rec committee meeting last night. We talked a lot about what's going on, what's been going on, what's coming up. Bottle Drive update for the month of March, April, May. It was a total of, oh Lord, love a duck, $707.10. So for 2 months, not bad. And this is usually our quieter time of the year. Spaghetti dinner cost update. So our spaghetti dinner costs came in at $773.70. And we made $879.60. So it just came out ahead. The nice part about that is we now have containers for the next couple events. So we paid for them out of that. And we totally replaced propane cylinders. So we'll be okay for the next event, whatever that may be. So it works out nicely. Scone baking, they had that on the weekend. They had 8 people participate. And we did find that we were missing a few items in the kitchen. So they have a list going together that they'll replace, but it sounded like fun. We talked a little bit about maybe for the next meeting is if we do it closer to Mother's Day, presenting it as a come bake your Mother's Day present or come bake your next Christmas present, something like that. We might be able to get a little bit of a younger crowd in, something a little different. So we talked about that a little bit. Soccer is ready to go. There's 90 kids and socks and shorts provided this year. And the jerseys are ordered, so equipment's all ready. There's 15 volunteers at this point, and we have 4 teams of 4 to 6, 4 teams of 7 to 9, and 2 teams of 10 to 12, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
For our little township, that's really kind of cool, right? And tentatively, the year-end barbecue will be June 26th. Let's hope the rain holds. We talked about Easter. We had 24 kids at Easter, 28 registered. For the nice, not so nice weather, it turned out kind of nice. And we had called off the scavenger hunts. But we ended up putting out like 200 eggs out in the field anyway, and the kids had a blast going to look for them. They just had a really good time. The plants were good. Somebody brought in one of their planters to the store like a week later and said, look, it's growing. So one of the kids, so they're really excited about the plants and doing that. So we'll do that again next year, but we're gonna look for something male oriented maybe for the boys, and somebody kindly suggested bat boxes. So we'll see if we can do some bat boxes. But again, we did the eggs, we did everything else. And I have to say thank you again to Callista. She donated all of our craft supplies. So we had set aside money in the budget to replace all the craft supplies because they were done. We don't have to buy anything. Markers, crayons, everything you can imagine was there, and we don't have to purchase anything. So that was really kind of nice. And she donated that. So next up is the music market, more to follow. We're working on bands, we're working on all that. And we were talking about, you know, do we invite vendors, don't we invite vendors? But we kind of did the, hey, stop at your local food place and bring dinner and come sit and enjoy some music for a couple hours, which might be the cool way to do it. And then after that is trunk sale on September 13th. Well, there's Canada Day in there somewhere, but we were told to hold. More information coming, so it'll be fun. There's a lot going on. And we've got new members, so I think there's a lot, it's fun.
Good.
Can't say anything, but it's fun. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that was, we talked about Canada Community
Oh,
Center.
that's it. You wanna go ahead with that one?
That was the Canada, they're doing a yard sale on Alsace. They've got about 16 houses participating. They're putting red balloons out at the end of their driveway, and it's a big community event.
Nice. Now whereabouts of the Alsace, like
All
the
over.
whole road?
Watch for the balloon.
Okay, beautiful. Well,
I
thank
think
you,
that's it.
Councillor Foot.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything else?
No reports for me today.
Good,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
I don't have any tonight, no.
Councillor,
I got my book at home, but I've got some highlights that I can go over with. Police Services Board. We met on May 5th. And 2 of us are going to the Police Services Board, what do they call it? Conference of Association of Police Services Boards of Ontario. Anyway, so 2 of us are going down to that for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I believe, of June. We also got the okay. Apparently we had to get it an okay from the province on naming the name that we gave our services board. They asked for one for each one. So we're called the PNC or Township of Nipissing and Calendar Police Services Board. So that's okay. So because apparently you can't get any funding unless you have a name. I know. So they're looking to fill 2 more services board seats. I think one for Calendar and one for Powassan. And then we got our memorandum from the province on policing and advice. It's a policing advisory bulletin on our codes of conduct for police services board, for running police services board. That's all I have for that. And I have a little bit of good news for the library. Powassan and Cape budget. That's the big news. The rest that I'll have to look at my book again.
Yeah.
It's loading up my bag. I left it. And the source water protection. They are actively looking for a coordinator for source water coordinator. Because Jennifer is overloaded. We all knew she would be, but anyway, so that's what they're doing. That's the big thing from there. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you,
I'll let
Councillor
her
Murphy. We had a real nice report from Tom Piper. Everybody has their copy and have read it, so. So I have two great things. The Sturgeon Nipissing French Watershed Committee had a meeting last week. I won't give you the numbers because we don't really care about the numbers. As far as locally, Chippewa Creek, Wassy, the Lavaz, they're starting to come down. They're still a little high, but they are starting to come down now. I don't know if anybody's been through Sturgeon Falls and seen the water coming over the dam, but it's amazing how much water is coming. So Temagami is still high, still taking in 1.5 millimeters every day, and it is 14 millimeters below flood so far. So if it goes to flood, then everything's coming here. But so far, we're just at a kind of a low summer level on Nipissing. It actually looks pretty good. You've probably seen it there. So let's hope. The lower French, Wolseley Bay, Dry Pine Bay are starting to come down to normal summer, which is unheard of this time of year. So far, keep your fingers crossed. It looks good. Tomaco is in summer range and Crystal Falls. So that's where we're at right now. I think there's a meeting in 2 weeks and then we'll know more. So, but Lake Nipissing is coming up every day. When it's calm, look at it, it's noticeable, but we're still good. And for the pines, we have a meeting next week. I'll have more information, but we did award the tender for the new patios, walkways, and privacy walls to Canilex out in North Bay. And their price was very fair. They come in, it was kind of nice to see their numbers. We're also looking at trying to get some funding to re-insulate the roof. Needs more insulation in there. So, but can't do that without funding in a building that size. And I'll have more information after our next meeting, so. I need a mover. Report. Councillor Chilipik. That the minutes of the regular council meeting held April 8th, 2025 be adopted and published. All in favor? Thank you. So I need a mover. Seconder. Councillor Chilipinko. Councillor Scott, seconded. That we authorize James Scott, Steve Kirky, Dave Yam, and Chris Cross-Carry Hodgsons to attend the District of Parry Sound Municipal Association meeting on May 23rd, 2025, being held in calendar. All in favor?
Yeah, that's for that $300.
Okay. So I need a mover. Councillor Foot. Seconded by Councillor Kirby. That we authorize the mayor and the municipal administrator clerk treasurer to sign a transfer payment agreement with the Ontario Fire Marshal for the additional funds to be received under the Fire Protection Grant Year 1. All in favor? Councillor Foot. Councillor Scott, second. That review the mayor and council expenses and remuneration summary as required by section 284 of the Municipal Act 2001. All in favor? Mover and a seconder. That we donate $100 to the Truck Creek Agricultural Society in support of the 2025 Fall Fair. All in favor? Need a mover and a seconder. The Township of Nipissing supports the City of North Bay Resolution Number 2025-108 for nomination of Victor Fideli for the 2025 Phenomenal Executive Award. All in favor?
Presentation.
Oh.
Oh, she got it.
I got it. Let's see if I can play the slideshow.
Awesome. Council had received the full report that looked like this in the previous package, but we've done just an overview for the public. Next slide, please, Vanna.
I can't guarantee this is gonna show on Zoom, so we might need,
We did it in PowerPoint, so it should
Okay,
work this
so
time. We were-
fingers
we were
crossed, if
messing with
not,
it.
we'll have to get the other technical guru on this, but we'll do our best, but if not, I'll post this presentation next to the agenda package online tomorrow, so I apologize to anybody who may be watching if it's not showing and you're seeing a blank screen.
So the 2024 monitoring report results. Wolf Lake landfill gained almost 2 years with the use of the shredding services in the compactor. So we have approximately 16.7-year lifespan remaining on the site. And in 2023, at the end of the year, we had 14.5. So we're doing better. We want our numbers going that way. Application to expand the fill area will begin once the Bear Creek fill area expansion application has been completed. And for the Wolf Lake landfill, we're looking at doubling the size. So that will trigger an environmental assessment, which will be a larger project for us, but we have more time and space.
Now, with current things in the province, that environmental assessment should be a little more streamlined than in the past, am I correct?
I don't know what the implications are gonna be yet. We are going to be seeing pension in the area in the next 2 weeks as they start their spring sampling, so hopefully we'll get to chat with them after that.
Oh,
Bear Creek landfill gained 1.5 years, which is great news for those of us who were really scared a couple of years ago. Approximately 7-year lifespan remaining on the site now, and we were at 5.5 in 2023. And the application process is still ongoing for the expansion of the fill area for the site. And one of those requirements was one of the things that can help our application is that we have a end of life idea of what we would like to do with it. So we'll come to that in a minute.
With the site?
That's right. So the provincial status of landfills, this is just an overview. So there's a very large report, the Ontario Baseline Waste and Recycling Report, which is provided by AMO, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. And it reports that based on remaining space and current waste disposal rates in Ontario, the remaining disposal capacity of existing landfills will be full within 10 years.
Province.
The whole province. So the province needs to work with us to make space and do things.
that's where I was going with that.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
they gotta,
I think they're more open to the smaller expansions and for the larger ones, they'll work with us to make sure that we still have to make sure that we're being safe, of course, but I don't think it's a solid no, like what we were told by the previous people that were looking after our landfills, they kept saying it's just a no. And I don't think that that's the case anymore, and I know Pension has told us that's not the case anymore, and they're working forward.
So if you stay under 40,000, you don't need to study, but most likely you need to.
Well,
wait.
that's where I was going with that, but if the province is looking at an end of life of 10 years provincially, it would be incumbent on them to streamline the process for the smaller landfills, because when they shut down small landfills, where does it go?
Big landfills. So just recently, we received an RFP request from the city of Toronto. It's to all Ontario municipalities who are operating landfill sites, and they were requesting the opportunity to ship their waste to us.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't answer. I didn't even look at that one very much.
Should the lake filled up the curb in there yet? Remember that one?
Yeah. So effective October 2025, Blue Box recycling activities become the responsibility of the province. Removing the cost of this service from the municipality operation should remain close to the same, with the financial responsibility shifting to the producers and away from the taxpayers. That is the goal of the project. And I have spoken to the company that got the tender for the Prairie Sound District, and we are on the northern end of that. But they say that we will not notice a change in service levels, and we know her number. So.
Okay, institutions and
The ICIs are still on the table for discussion, so we're still fighting hard to get those included. But we'll have to figure out something as we get closer. So just for reference sake, in 2024, the amount paid to Canor as our recycling contractor was $69,924.32. And the amount we received from Stewardship Ontario for our Blue Box recycling was $43,340.60. So those support payments should be stopping soon. Not the final one, but we're going to be transitioning, so that's good news. So diversion program status. So the statistics for 2024, now that they're all in, we were able to divert 159.845 tons of recyclables from our landfills. Electronics were 11.32 tons shipped out, and we received $1,715.25. Textile diversion, we don't receive any revenue, but we don't have any costs, and we shipped out 2.33 tons. Scrap steel diversion, 66.44 tons collected, and the revenue was $12,057.42. Mattress diversion, 123 mattresses shipped in 2024. The cost was $3,028.38. We charge on our user fee, $25 per mattress, so that worked out to, with the costs, it was $24.63. So we came in a little bit ahead on the mattresses. Last year, we were a little bit below.
And we save on shredding, eh? Like, it
Yes.
gives us a better
So,
deal.
yes, the
Yeah.
shredder is definitely, it's better because the shredder used to get all messed up with the coils
Yeah.
from the mattresses. So he gave us a much better rate because he didn't have to deal with that. So that's good. And 2025 updates and overview, January 1st, 2025, the landfill sites moved to a 4-day per week, 10-hour per day schedule. We've heard nothing but good news from that. It seems to be working well with it. No complaints have been received. The debit payment option was provided at each landfill beginning in January 2025, and approximately 1/3 of all tipping fees are now being collected using debit, which means there's no cash at the landfills, and it's a much safer option. And finally, considerations moving forward. So requests for a compost location at each landfill have been received by several people. This will help to remove food waste from the landfill sites. This will also increase rodent and nuisance animal presence at each site. So there's positive and negative to both of these. There will be a cost to create a safe location to deposit compost and maintain the area and ensure that it is secure. And it is staff recommendation that if council chooses to create these areas, that the composted soil not be sold or provided to the community due to the possibility of contamination from our site. We can't always supervise what people are putting in, and just based on what we see at the landfill site, there could be a danger there. So what we need from council is, do you want us to proceed with a planning report on costing and location and the benefits of the composting sites? Or do we want to leave it to people and provide them education on how to create compost sites at their own homes?
Me personally, having a little bit to deal with the down south. The green stuff, like your vegetables and your clippings, was never an issue. It's all the other waste, and then it gets contaminated, and again, it took what should have been a simple job, turned it into weeks processing, sorting, and creating problems, and then it eventually ended up hiring 3 more staff just to police it. And as soon as you do that, you're just adding a lot of money.
Plus equipment, you have to go up and turn it.
Yeah, you have to make a
Manpower,
proper compost.
yeah.
So we do have limited resources as far as that goes. And if you go back to that survey that we did, there wasn't a lot of call for it.
If we wanted to do something like that, I think it'd be better to make the composters like the rotary ones. I still would love to see us have blue boxes to stop all the bags from the recycle. Cause that garbage can fills within an hour of them doing that. And then you get a windy day and they put it out there, and then the wind takes it and puts it everywhere. If we could somehow get a blue box program have them, make them available at a 0 cost to the township, then I think that would help. And maybe some of these people that make blue boxes have the home composters. And maybe we could do that at a 0, like break even point, not lose money at a break even point.
So
Gonna
by
save
fall,
us.
We take to the farm, pigs, chickens.
Well, that's part of that
Gone.
education, I think, is really important, that people don't understand that they could reach out to someone who's
Yeah.
got pigs or chickens and go,
Right.
hey, would you mind if I once a week brought by?
Yeah.
Create relationships that's further benefiting everybody.
So we were working through some changes. We have to change our website completely. We have to move to a new platform as the platform we use is dying, and they're not replacing it. So we're working on the best cost-effective way to do that with our current provider. It doesn't look like it will be a whole lot of money. It's just gonna be some work. And so we can hopefully have a page on education component like that.
Mhm.
That's the screen. That's the plan anyway, is to have that type of education going forward.
And maybe some of the local
So-
people that could use it could step up and say, have a place to take it if they want it.
So my only concern then to bring back for purchasing bulk blue boxes and compost units is where do we keep them and how do we sell them?
I would assume they would come out of the landfill. The composters, I think you'd need to say, I would like to have one. Here's what it's gonna look like. You pay for it and it'll be here in
But
2 weeks,
who's
3
gonna
weeks.
distribute them?
I think it'd have to come out of the landfills, really. That's where I
So we
think you
have
would
to have
want.
a storage place for the blue boxes at the
Yeah.
landfills.
Yeah, you could keep 50 at each landfill and then as they go through them, somebody from Works could probably drop off at some point.
Well, we'd have to order in more because Works has no space available for storage of,
Yeah.
of extras, unfortunately.
I don't,
We're,
Yeah, we used to go to the municipal center for those. But I think the idea of ordering compost, can we get a deal on mass order of compost and then we do a delivery or a pickup one afternoon at an event?
we could do it as a drive, so to
Yeah.
speak. That's an interesting.
If you did
That's
a
a great-
pre-order, people
Yeah.
pre-order,
Pre-order.
and then you have them, and then something like your trunk sale, people could come, and then it draws people, sorry, to,
no,
people, it draws
Absolutely.
people to that event that you want people to attend anyways, and then they walk around.
So we could do that for blue boxes and
And, yeah.
Yeah.
composters.
Mhm.
And that way we'd only have that one event where we would have everything
Yes.
to make
Yes.
sure we got them out. And we
Yes.
wouldn't have to worry about storage.
That's right, so if you did a pre-order, and then maybe you had a few, maybe not the composters, but blue bins, which are a bit smaller, if you had, say, 10 or 20 extra, cause they stack,
Mhm.
then you could, somebody who didn't know, you could sell them as an ad hoc kind of
'Cause we could
option.
even keep a stack at the office. We
That's
do
right.
have space for one stack.
That's right.
So
Yeah, okay.
prepaid in advance?
Yeah.
yes.
And then just buy a few extras of the blue
Yeah.
bins and have them. Okay, that's definitely worth looking into.
Yes.
You could look into purchasing with another municipality if anybody else is in the same boat or there's time. 'Cause I know, a couple of these have them. I know Callender has them and I believe East Ferris still has them. I'm not sure about Bondfield or anybody, but maybe you got together, all three municipalities buy it, maybe the price will come down a wee bit.
Definitely worth looking into, so thank
Yeah.
you. That's great. So the next item that was on the slide, and it's okay.
Oh,
It's okay. Conceptual closure strategy for the Bear Creek landfill site. So this is an element that will be reviewed during the fill expansion application process, and it actually goes in our favor if we have a start on the conceptual closure strategy. So we need council's input for ideas on what you would see for a future use of the landfill site once it's closed, which means fill and grass.
Just a lock gate and fence around it would be very nice.
I was thinking Canada's Wonderland Part 2.
No.
How about,
It'd be more like a 3 Mile Island.
yeah.
Oh.
What about a driving range or something simple like that?
Well,
But you'd have to sell it. Like, we're not gonna run a driving
No.
range.
Rent it out as.
you'd have, well, it would be still, we can't really sell it because it's a landfill site.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's something that the municipality would have to manage and run. So if you had a driving range, you'd have to have a staff. There's give and take here.
Couldn't you set it up for somebody else and they would just rent it? We made it and left it.
An RFP of some sort.
And then-
we can have it.
All they gotta do is put some rubber mats and cut the grass. We wouldn't have to cut grass. That would be part of their,
Is it large enough to do a driving range?
No.
I don't think
Well,
so.
if
Once
you
we get it
use
all filled in, I'm
A
not sure.
wedge, you'd be all right. Like, really, if you hit a wedge 140 yards, you'd be out in the bush.
There's all kinds of requirements when you
Well, some of
do
them-
something like that on a landfill.
But
We
see,
used to do parks, like soccer fields, but we'd have to have pipes and stuff coming up and they'd be tested and
Oh, yes, the testing wells will remain on the site for
Yes.
25 years. It's not a
yeah.
small.
Yeah.
yeah, you go look at, in the city of Mississauga, it's called Springbank Road. That was a gravel pit and it expired and it became Mississauga, Toronto. And another landfill site. And then when that was done in full, there's $8-9 million per house on that, on top
Really?
of the garbage. Site.
Houses?
Yes,
Landfill.
right on top,
Oh,
right on top, because they got complaints galore, because every time they augured in the fence post, they pulled up garbage.
Oh, yeah, and how much was that shift?
Staff's recommendation is that is not a good one.
No,
Yeah.
But
limited, don't wanna do it again. Aaron Brockovich. And I'm pretty
Wouldn't the
sure,
ground shift?
no.
Yeah.
Just come
as it
back.
breaks down, it wouldn't be solid.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
think.
not only that, but it would still continue gassing off for
Yes.
years and years and years, not 25, it'd be more than 25 that it would continue.
Yeah.
It would gas off almost into perpetuity, you know, so, yeah.
You'd
So
almost
whenever
want
we
it
look
for
at-
like,
Is this a question to, you know, float balloons and say to people, what would you like to see? I think this is a question that goes out to
I think if
the public that says, what would your vision be of it? Now, knowing that there's things that
There's
are not,
restrictions.
there's restrictions, but just what is your vision?
If you start asking the public what they would like to do with a closed landfill site, one, they would panic because we're seeing a landfill site and see beyond the fact that they're trying to extend the life of the landfill
Well,
site.
it's a fact of life.
Well, I know it's a fact of life, but
And if they're looking at it like it's not, so, I mean, they're losing their mind because
There,
it's their property, right? It's township property, so we're willing to do something and just take suggestions, because, I mean, there's 5 of us, 7 of us around the table. They probably have a whole lot more different and
I know another.
inventive ideas than we do,
Yeah,
right?
I know another municipality moved their public works yard to the landfill because they use salt and they use this and they use that, and it's contaminating the ground anyways. They're contaminated. And they did that to give them more space, more room, more
For us,
everything.
though, it would be so far away from our
Sure.
equipment for,
I agree, but I just saying,
yeah.
you know, like, what would you open it up to, like? There's nothing, there's lots of uses for it, but there's nothing for our uses, like a
And that's-
scrap yard
it's
would be an
staff
excellent
is
idea.
Just trying to float this around and we thought,
when do we
I
have to
think
come up
we
with
live-
some ideas?
just whenever. I just wanted to put it out to council and then we'll look at how we can get it out to the public in a way that we can educate why we're doing this as well.
Yeah.
So we'll
I
have
think-
it come back to council.
And with a good education piece, with good conversation,
Yeah.
you'll
it just,
get good ideas. We just have to
Like, it's gonna be locked.
manage
that's
the
locked.
conversation.
yeah,
And fenced eventually, once it's closed.
yeah,
So staff are gonna have to
Yeah,
go open
it's
that
going
if
to
we have a
be-
use. We live in the most beautiful place in Ontario. I don't ever see me take my granddaughters for a picnic,
No,
sitting on the old dump,
no,
ever.
yeah.
I think.
What about a tree farm?
Giving it to
Storage?
us because we don't have enough to keep us away from our heads to pillow at night.
Model
Yeah.
airplane practice zone.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But I mean, it could be anything as far, like,
Yeah.
you know, somebody could use it for paintball or something like that. Like, there's different things that it can be used for. But we just need.
Yeah.
We need suggestions.
well, let's hope it's open for another 25 years.
Well, we're hoping,
or
and
30
this
years.
actually goes towards the application, as Pension said when they were doing their presentation, that this helps. It shows the government that we're invested in it. Of course, we're invested in it. For whatever reason, this is part of it. So,
Christmas tree farm.
Okay. All right, so
So
that was the
Nobody works on
landfill
it, nobody goes there.
status update and any questions? So we intend to continue on with all of our diversion programming in 2025, and we have been.
This is a resolution for that.
There's a resolution for that. There's always a
Mr. Mayor, before you read the resolution, let Councillor Kirky go first.
So I was gonna move,
Oh, Chris had mentioned in her presentation, the 1/3 of the debit transactions, there was a report in there, so I looked at, it only went to March. So in April, the amounts went up, and just in May, half this month so far, there's already $525 being used in debit transactions. So I think we'll see the amount
Oh,
going
yeah.
up, which has been great. And the staff working with the office staff to communicate the amounts has been great. So it's been a really worthwhile endeavor of putting that out there.
Yeah.
And we've heard from the landfill staff, residents that are enjoying having that option at the landfill. So,
Good.
yes,
Once
thanks.
this cottages, all the islands open up, and we'll have big use of that, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yes, so thank you
Yeah.
for your support in that.
Yeah.
It's much safer for everybody.
Yeah.
One other item is we have found our temporary replacement for Jillian at the landfill for the summer while she transitions to the museum. And you'll meet Liam, and eventually he'll be there in a few weeks. We think he'll be a really great addition to our landfill.
student.
A youth. And we've been through that process as well. It's been a busy week.
Yes.
Few weeks.
Good, so I need a mover, Councillor Kirby. And a seconder? Receive the 2025 landfill update and the accompanying staff report. All in favor? That we pass bylaw number 2025-16 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2023-30 cited as the trailer license bylaw to correct wording and the bylaw references. Read this first, second, third time and passed this 13th day of May 2025. All in favor?
Yes. So it was just easier to add to the packages. We had some correspondence is in 2 packages and the counts are in 2 packages.
North Bay OPP Detachment Police Services Board, 3 minutes of the meeting held January 27th, 2025. Good. Everybody's read it. Municipality of Powassan notice of statutory public meeting for a new official plan. Multiple resolutions regarding recently enacted strong mayor's powers for additional municipalities.
And we're still continuing to receive them, but we've given you a fair sampling of what they're saying.
Everybody's good on that? Township, or Town of Georgina resolution regarding salt management. Near North Crime Stoppers requesting support for upcoming 27th annual golf tournament. So we generally have given them $100 to donation towards it. Everybody's in favor of doing that?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll, next meeting. Almaquin Highlands Secondary School requesting support for upcoming graduation to be held June 25th, 2025. And we try to give them $100 donation for that. Good. And a thank you note from the Cullen family. North Bay Cherry Sound District Health Unit Board meeting minutes held Wednesday, February 26, 2025. The Golden Sunshine Municipal Nonprofit Housing Corporation minutes of the Board of Directors meeting held March 18th, 2025. Town of Colberg resolution. Township of Autonomy South Monaghan resolution.
And those were for, Coburg's was Ontario Works financial assistance rate. And Autonomy South Monaghan was proposal to end daylight savings time.
Which we probably all want to end, but I don't think we're gonna be the ones to do it, so. Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO policy update, municipal governance changes. I need a mover, seconder. Good. That we received the correspondence report dated April 29th, 2025 and May 18th.
13th, sorry.
Okay.
The wrong number.
It threw me off seeing two
Yes,
dates for starters.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
May 13th, 2025, as presented, all in favor?
I caught myself making that mistake a couple of times. I'll just fix it. Thanks.
Okay, I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Pinko.
Turner.
There were two. There should have been one in your previous.
Oh, I thought we were. I thought we just advanced it to.
No, we did two separate ones.
I've already read it.
Any questions? Okay,
No, I
got
got the other one, I just couldn't find
Oh,
it.
okay.
okay. The statement of accounts dated April 3rd, 8th, 12th, 15th, and 24th, 2025, totaling $61,151.95. And that the statement of accounts dated April 25th, 26th, and May the 5th, 2025, totaling $172,064.72 for a total of $233,216.67 be approved. All in favor? Seconder. This part of our meeting will be closed to the public as authorized by section 239, 2B and F of the Municipal Act 2001 C25 for consideration of the following subject matter: personnel matters about the identifiable individual, including municipal and local board employees, council to discuss a formal complaint response from a residence, advice that subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, council to receive legal opinion or damages to a municipal roadway.
And the time is 7:19.
All in favor?